Rely. 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 Let's talk about the word rely. So, rely is a verb that means to put trust or confidence in someone or something to perform a task or provide a service. It can be used in various contexts, such as relying on a friend to keep a secret, relying on an expert to fix a problem, or even relying on public transportation to get you where you need to go. In common usage, rely is often used with an object that is the source of confidence. Like, I rely on my parents for financial support. It's worth noting that when using rely, the focus is on the ability or willingness of the person or thing being relied upon, not necessarily their actual performance. For example, I usually rely on Google Maps to navigate unfamiliar areas implies that you have confidence in its abilities, even if it sometimes fails. Overall, rely is a useful word for expressing trust and reliance on others or systems. Let's talk about how to use the word rely in different situations. In a formal setting, such as a job interview or a professional letter, you might say something like, "The success of our company relies heavily on the expertise and dedication of our team members." This usage implies that the outcome or result depends on specific individuals or factors. In casual conversation with friends or family, you could use rely to express dependence on someone's skills or abilities. Like this, "I'm going to rely on my sister to help me move next weekend because she's got a lot of experience lifting heavy stuff." Here, the speaker is indicating that they're counting on someone else for assistance. In business or academic writing, you might use rely in sentences like, "The conclusions drawn from the study are based on a sample size that relies on data collected over several years." In this example, the writer is implying that the findings are grounded in a specific methodology or dataset. So, when we talk about relying on something or someone, what we mean is that you're counting on them for support, guidance, or help in a situation. It's like having a trusted friend who knows just what to say or do to get you through tough times, or a tool that always does the job as expected. In essence, when you rely on something, you're putting your trust and confidence in it, so you can feel more secure and confident about achieving your goals or navigating challenges. Remove. 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 The word remove is a verb that means to take something away from somewhere, either physically or figuratively. It's commonly used in everyday conversations to talk about taking out trash, canceling plans, or even forgetting something. For example, you might say, "Can you please remove this dirty dish from the table?" Or, "I'm going to remove myself from social media for a while." One special note about the usage of remove is that it's often confused with another verb, take away, which has a slightly different meaning. While both verbs can be used in similar situations, take away tends to imply that something was taken by someone or something else, whereas remove emphasizes the action of taking it oneself. Here are 3 practical example sentences using the word remove, along with their contexts. At a formal gala event, a guest politely asked the host to remove her allergenic perfume from the vicinity of her dinner table, citing concerns for her health and comfort. In a casual conversation with friends at a park, someone mentioned that they were going to remove the broken branch from the tree that was blocking the walking path, making it easier for others to navigate. A team lead in a marketing firm instructed their team to remove any unnecessary features from the new software prototype, streamlining its functionality and preparing it for release to the public. So you're trying to figure out what remove means. Well, in simple terms, when we talk about removing something, we're talking about getting rid of an object, a person, or even some information that's no longer needed or wanted. The main characteristic of removal is that it involves taking away or leaving behind something that was previously present. Think of it like cleaning up your room. You get rid of the toys and books you don't want anymore. Right? Similarly, when you remove a person from a job or a group, you're essentially getting them out of that role or position. Some similar concepts to removal include discard, get rid of, which all mean pretty much the same thing. When it comes to using the word remove, you might see it in sentences like, please remove your shoes before entering the house, or, I'm going to remove this old wallpaper. It's not looking good anymore. So, I hope that helps clarify what remove means for you. Scheme. Let's break down the word scheme. As a noun, a scheme refers to a plan or proposal for doing something, often with a specific goal in mind. In common usage, you might hear people talk about a business scheme to make money, a fitness scheme to get healthy, or even a social media scheme to go viral. It's worth noting that the word scheme can sometimes have a slightly negative connotation, implying that someone is trying to deceive or manipulate others for their own gain. So be careful with how you use it in context. Additionally, in British English, a scheme can also refer to an organized system of things, like a pension scheme at work. But overall, the word scheme is a useful one to know when discussing plans and proposals with friends or colleagues. Here are 3 practical example sentences using the word scheme with varying levels of formality. The university's administration has unveiled a new scheme to provide financial assistance to low-income students, which will be funded by a combination of government grants and private donations. This was discussed in a meeting where professors were debating the ethics of prioritizing certain student groups over others. Meanwhile, at the coffee shop down the street, my friend mentioned that he had come up with a scheme to save money on his rent by subletting his spare room to a roommate, but his landlord wasn't too thrilled about it. So you want to know about this thing that involves planning and organizing something in a detailed way? Well, let me tell you, it's essentially a plan of action that breaks down a big project or goal into smaller, more manageable parts. It helps you figure out what needs to be done, when it should be done, and who might be able to help with each step. This approach is often used in business, education, or even personal projects where people want to make sure they're on the right track and making progress towards a specific goal. Some other terms that people use to describe this concept are blueprint or roadmap. But the basic idea is the same. It's a way to think ahead and stay organized.